You are sitting still, finally, and your dog exhales. Not a pant, not a whine. A long, slow sigh. You have probably heard it 100 times and assumed it meant nothing. It means something. And what it measures is not your dog's mood. It is yours. If you want to understand what your dog is really telling you, you are in the right place. Let me set the scene that almost everyone with a dog has lived through. You come home after a difficult day. You drop onto the couch. Your dog circles once, settles beside you, and about 30 seconds later, that sound, a long breath out, almost theatrical in its completeness. You probably smiled. You probably thought, my dog is tired too. But here is what is actually happening. Dogs produce several distinct vocalizations and breath sounds that behaviorists classify differently. The sigh, a slow, audible exhalation through a partially open mouth, often accompanied by a lowering of the head, is distinct from the stress pant, the play pant, and the alert exhale. It is almost always produced from a resting position. It almost always follows a period of physical or emotional transition. And crucially, it is almost always directed, meaning your dog does not sigh into an empty room the way they might whine or bark at nothing. They sigh at you, or near you, or in the moment after you have finally stopped moving. That specificity is the first clue. The sigh is not random. It is responsive. And what it is responding to is the question this whole video is really about. Here is the meta-psychology pivot, the part I find genuinely fascinating. If the sigh is responsive, then the question is, what is your dog responding to? And the answer, increasingly supported by research, is not the environment, it is you. When I came across the work of Powell and colleagues, published in 2021 in Frontiers in Veterinary Science, I had to share it with you. Their research found that owner personality and owner-dog attachment style were among the strongest predictors of behavioral outcomes in dogs. Stronger, in many cases, than the dog's own temperament baseline. What that means is that your dog's behavioral tendencies, including the fine-grained signals they use to communicate, are sculpted by the emotional climate you create. The sigh, in this light, is not your dog being dramatic. It is your dog reflecting back the emotional texture of the room. If your dog sighs when you finally sit down, what they are registering is not their own exhaustion. It is the shift in your nervous system. The exhale is a co-regulation signal, and the fact that your dog produces it so reliably, so specifically, so accurately timed to your transitions, that is not coincidence. That is attunement, and attunement is built. If that just made you see your relationship with your pet in a completely different way, hit subscribe. We explore the science of the human-pet bond every week and what it reveals about us. Let us keep going. Number 1. The sigh you have been reading correctly, and everything it says about your relationship. Some sighs are exactly what you hoped they were. The soft exhalation that comes after a long walk, after a good meal, after your dog has settled onto their bed and you have sat nearby, that sigh is a genuine contentment signal. Behaviorists describe it as a parasympathetic release, the body shifting out of low-level vigilance and into rest. The heart rate drops, the muscles release, the breath lengthens. But here is what I want you to notice about when this happens. It almost never happens when your dog is alone. It happens in proximity to you, which tells you something about what your presence actually means to your dog's nervous system. You are not just company. You are a co-regulator. You are the environmental cue that signals it is safe to fully exhale. The research from Van Herwijnen, published in the journal Behavior in 2021, explored the caregiving system between owners and dogs, specifically how the owner's own attachment orientation shapes the dog's felt sense of safety. When your dog produces the contentment sigh near you, they are issuing a verdict. Your presence has been consistent enough, calm enough, safe enough, that their nervous system has learned to let go when you are close. Number 2, the sigh that comes after tension, and what you have been carrying without knowing it. Not every sigh is contentment. There is a second category, that looks almost identical but carries a completely different charge. This is the release valve sigh, the exhalation that comes after a stressful event has passed, after a visitor leaves, after an argument in the other room ends, after you have been on a long phone call in an anxious voice and you finally hang up. Your dog sighs, and you feel the room change. What is happening here is that your dog has been holding a mild stress response. Not fear, not panic, but the low-level activation that mirrors yours, and the sigh is the body releasing it. This is distinct from contentment because the baseline was elevated. The sigh is not expressing safety, it is returning to safety. I find this revealing about the owners I have spoken to and the research I have read on this. The owners who report their dogs sighing most frequently are often, not always, but often, people who carry a significant amount of ambient emotional tension. Not dramatic, not clinical, just the ordinary background hum of a person who is often running a little hot internally, even when they appear calm externally. Your dog is not reading your thoughts. They are reading your body. And when the body finally releases, so does theirs. Number 3. The sigh that copies you and what that says about who you are in the relationship. Here is something I want you to try the next time you are aware enough to catch it. Sit down somewhere quiet. Take a deliberate, audible exhale, slow, long, complete. Then watch your dog. Many dogs will mirror it within 30 seconds. This is not a trained behavior. No one taught your dog to match your breath. It's a product of the thousands of hours they have spent studying you, logging your sounds, your rhythms, your transitions. Dogs are extraordinarily sensitive to respiratory patterns in the humans they are attached to. The breath is one of the most immediate cues they have about your internal state. The research from Rooney and colleagues, published in Applied Animal Behavior Science in 2011, examined how owner-dog interaction patterns become embedded in the dog's behavioral repertoire. What the mirror breath tells you about yourself is this: you have been present enough, consistent enough, and emotionally legible enough that your dog has internalized your rhythms. They are not mimicking a stranger. They are completing a familiar pattern. You are the pattern. Your exhale has become a cue they recognize and respond to. That is intimacy, not the human kind, but something adjacent to it. Number 4. The sigh you have been mistaking for contentment and what it actually reveals. Not every sigh is a good sign. There is a third category that owners almost universally misread, and misreading it has real consequences. This is the resignation sigh. The exhale that comes not after rest, not after the release of tension, but after a request has been ignored. Your dog paws at you. You do not respond. They circle. You are on your phone. They come to your side and look up. You scroll. And then, the sigh. The long exhale, the lowering of the head to the floor, the eyes going soft and inward. You looked over and thought, how sweet. They are relaxed. What your dog actually did was give up on that bid for connection. O'Farrell's foundational 1997 research, published in Applied Animal Behavior Science, one of the earliest studies to link owner attitude directly to dog behavior patterns, found that owners who were inattentive or inconsistent in their responsiveness produced dogs with significantly higher rates of what we now call learned helplessness behavior. The dog learns, my signals do not land, so I stop signaling. The resignation sigh is your dog learning, one exhale at a time, that some bids for you are not worth making. None of that makes you a bad owner. It makes you human. But now you know what that particular sigh is saying. Number 5. The sigh that is actually a question and what it needs from you. Here's a category of sigh that is easy to miss if you are not listening for it. This one is different from the resignation sigh in a crucial way. It comes before the dog has given up. The dog sighs, but then watches you. The sigh is followed by a pause, a lifted head, a held gaze. This is the bid for attunement. Your dog is not expressing how they feel. They are asking how you feel. They are checking in on the emotional state of the room, and they are waiting to see if you will meet them there. Attunement is a concept from developmental psychology that describes the caregiver's capacity to receive and reflect a signal from another being. When a parent attunes to an infant, the infant learns that their inner states are real, are receivable, are worth expressing. Dogs have been shown to seek something functionally similar from their owners, not parenting in the human sense, but the felt sense of being registered. The 2021 research by Van Herwijnen in the journal Behavior addressed exactly this dynamic, finding that owners who approached the relationship through a secure caregiving orientation produced dogs with more stable emotional expression, dogs who offered more signals and offered them with more confidence. The bid for attunement sigh is your dog saying, "I am here. Are you?" If you look up and make contact, even briefly, you close the loop. Number 6. The sigh your dog has been waiting for you to give yourself permission to make. This last one is the one that surprised me most in researching this topic. There is a category of dog sigh that follows human emotional expression, not tension, not a phone call, but the moment you actually let yourself feel something. You cry, you laugh hard, you say something honest out loud to yourself. You sit with your grief for 10 seconds instead of pushing it down, and your dog sighs. I think what is happening here is the inverse of everything we have discussed so far. Most of the time, your dog is reading your signals and reflecting them. But in this case, your dog has been carrying a low-level holding pattern, waiting for you to match the emotional permission they have been extended all along. Dogs do not suppress. They do not perform calm when they feel anxious. They do not hide sadness behind productivity. They are fully present with whatever they feel, and they extend that permission to you every single day, simply by being what they are. When you finally let something real through, when you stop managing your internal state long enough to actually feel it, your dog exhales, because the room just became honest. And honesty to a dog is the safest thing there is. You did not teach your dog to sigh at exactly these moments, but your dog has been doing it anyway, because they have been waiting for you to arrive. So what do you actually do with this? Let me give you something concrete. The next time your dog sighs near you, I want you to pause for just 3 seconds before you interpret it. Not to analyze it, just to notice it. Ask yourself, what just happened in this room? Did I just sit down after a long period of movement? Did a source of tension just leave? Was my dog trying to reach me 30 seconds ago and I did not respond? Did I just finally let something through emotionally that I had been holding all day? That 3-second pause is not a training exercise. It is an attunement exercise for you. The research on owner-dog interaction patterns, including the work from Rooney and colleagues and the attachment work from Powell and Van Herwijnen, converges on a single insight. The quality of the human-dog bond is not primarily determined by training. It is determined by presence, by emotional legibility, by whether you are the kind of person your dog can read, and by extension, the kind of person who can read themselves. Your dog has been doing this work faithfully, without asking for credit. Every sigh has been a precise piece of information about the emotional texture of the room you share. You do not have to be a better owner. You do not have to do anything differently. You just have to know what you are hearing. There is a moment that happens in almost every home with a dog, usually in the quiet part of the evening, when the tasks of the day have finally been set down. You are still, your dog settles, and there it is, that long, slow exhale. You know now that it is not meaningless. You know it is not random. You know it is a signal that has been calibrated to you, your nervous system, your rhythms, your emotional patterns, through thousands of hours of careful, devoted attention. Your dog is not judging you. They are reflecting you. They are telling you what the room actually feels like from inside a body that has no reason to perform otherwise. The sigh that lands in the silence of the evening is your dog's version of the same thing you feel when you finally stop pretending everything is fine. It is the sound of two nervous systems agreeing, at last, that it is safe to let go. You did not teach your dog to do this, but they have been doing it for you, all along. Now that you know your dog's sigh is a precise measurement of the emotional climate you create in the room, when did your dog last sigh near you? And what was actually happening in your body in that moment? Let us know in the comments. New episodes drop every Tuesday, Thursday, and Sunday. Make sure you are subscribed to catch the next one. Until then, decode your dog, decode yourself.